Parenting is the hardest job, and there is not a close second. Raising high-performing teen athletes or performers? That's a high-stakes job. I'm Nate Crandall, joined by fellow certified high-performance coach Steve Galley. We coach ambitious parents like you, and also your high-performing teens, because when you both level up, connection and results don't just improve, they multiply. Welcome to the Stop Parenting and Start Coaching podcast. We have some burning questions for you. Welcome, LinkedIn parents, to our live chat today that we are having. This is called Let's Get Radically Honest. So today, what we are going to be doing is having a coaching conversation for high-achieving parents. I am Nate Crandall, and I'm here with my great friend and fellow certified high-performance coach, Steve Galley. Together, we host the Stop Parenting, Start Coaching podcast, where we talk all about these great ideas to help parents become the best coaches for their kids they possibly can. So tonight, what we're going to be doing is I'm going to be doing the role that I do in real life as a certified high performance coach, and Steve is going to be jumping in here. What?
No impersonations.
No, I don't know. I'm not a great impersonator, so we're just going to roll with what I do. But Steve is a good impersonator. He's going to be filling the role of a high-achieving parent of a teen athlete or performer. So we want to invite you that are following along to pretend that you're on the hot seat with Steve and you're experiencing some of the questions that I'm going to ask him. So it's just an invitation for you to think about some of those questions. It's going to be awesome.
So speaking of that hot seat, I'm going to feel like so many driven parents out there where that seat can get a little bit uncomfortable.
Turn up the sizzle.
Because we turn up. Oh, I see what you were saying. I actually thought you were talking about turning up the volume, and I was like, no. I thought we had the tech all set. You're talking about turning up the sizzle. Yeah, it's going to get a little uncomfortable because we care so much about our teens' performance, but we also feel the pressure of always needing to get it right. And we often get totally stressed out as our teens are in public. They're in the spotlight, they're on the field, they're on the court, they're on the stage. And we want them to do well. We want them to win. We want them to hit every note.
We love them so much.
It can be challenging.
For sure. So this session is going to be a little bit different for you. We're not going to turn this into a, hey, here's a lecture or anything. We are just going to model what a real coaching conversation would look like. So we're rolling with that theme for today of all progress starts with a truth. So Steve, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Excellent. So one of the things that we do with the athletes that we coach, we have a great thing we do called the Prime Your Mind Intensive. And in that intensive, we help them to strip away the fluff, get past all the pressure, get past the pretending, and we help them anchor to what is true. The same thing applies for parents. So tonight, that's what we're getting into. Every great leader, including parents, leads from the truth. And when they lead from the truth, it's way better than leading from an illusion. So that's what we're after today.
Okay, I'm on board with that. Here's a little truth. Before you start firing questions at me that I'm not aware of, I often wonder, am I pushing too hard? Am I not pushing hard enough? Am I a support or am I completely suffocating my teen? Am I connecting or am I controlling? I don't know. Can you help me with this?
That's so real. Those are such real concerns, and we can, and that's why we train the truth. It's like we tell all the athletes, the truth is your toughest training partner, but it's also your most loyal one. And so as we dive into the truth, people, you can get good at exploring some of those things within yourself, and we're going to try to tap into some of those as we ask some of these questions. So I want to slow it down as we get into this, and we're going to go through 4 questions, just as little reflections to kind of get us started. And these are a great way to start these high performance coaching sessions. So if you're watching, play along, but these prompts are going to be designed to help you get to some of the personal truths that you have. So Steve, here's your first one, and hopefully this will help you get at some of those important things you just talked about. I know I'm at my best as a parent when what? Fill in that blank.
When conversations with my teen are not forced.
Yeah. How often does that happen for you?
Well, I would like to think that it happens more often than it doesn't happen. Maybe it's because the ones that are forced are the ones that seem to stand out in my mind.
Yeah, we tend to remember those. Thank you for sharing that truth. I'm going to go to the second one, and we can come back and revisit these later. Something I've learned through effort as a parent is what?
Through effort. I think my teens respect me because they've seen my effort. I think and my effort is really is to help them. It's not so that they can see that I'm making an effort. So I work hard for their benefit, and I think they see that. So I think there's some respect that comes from it. I think I've earned some respect that way.
I agree. I think you've earned some respect. What do they do that helps you see that they respect you? How do you know that that's what they're feeling?
Probably when they show gratitude.
So we can always use more of that, but do you feel that that happens enough?
Oh, I would probably say in my own insecurity that it does not happen enough.
But you do have instances where it has happened.
Doesn't every generation talk about the younger generation of how they're ungrateful and entitled? And yes,
that's part of the truth about us. As our generation, we do that. But it's good to know that you get some of that gratitude. And I think that is indicative of the respect that they have for you. The next prompt I want to throw at you kind of builds off of this idea that you're good at doing some of these things. You're good at giving this effort. But one thing you believe about yourself as a parent that gives you strength is what?
One thing I believe about myself as a parent that gives me strength. Well, I think this is something that I learned in sports and school. I would say the sports memories are more at the forefront of my mind, but that I can figure things out.
Wow, that's a great strength.
And if I mess things up, I can do my best, and usually can make things as right as possible.
If you know what all the psychological researchers call that strength?
Oh, I do not know what all the psychological
research. They call it confidence.
Oh, confidence.
The ability to work things out, understanding that when things get muddy, you feel that you can find a way to make it work. And I honor you for that. That's an incredible strength to bring to the parenting table. So make sure you write that one down and put a few stars by it, because that's definitely something you can lean on as a truth for sure. So when you're talking with people that you trust, what do they say is true about you as a parent?
He loves his kids.
How do you feel when you say that?
Well, it makes me want to do better.
I love that. That's why you're here. That's why we're doing this. And I'm paid to push. And so we're going to try to get more of that feeling for you. How's that going to feel when you feel even more of that feeling?
Well, if I feel more of that feeling, I think that means I'm in closer alignment with the values that I hold, the standards that I set, the effort that I give. Because if I'm not doing those things, it's how can I say that I really love them? It
awesome
becomes
truth.
more of a show than a tell.
Yeah. So
when it becomes more of a it becomes more of a tell than a show.
Tell, not a show. Yeah.
I was going back to show and tell there for a second.
Well, when you think over those 4 answers that you just had there, which one of those feels like the truth you want to train right now? Which one do you want to pick to really dive into and look at as a way of training and making even better?
Probably the one about the mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
Simply because, let's face it, there's no perfect parents.
Right.
I'm certainly not a perfect parent. Make lots of mistakes. And so I would say that the person that can figure it out,
mm-hmm.
I don't know if I always have that front and center.
So that confidence you feel isn't consistent.
Correct.
Awesome. That's a great one to dive into. So we are going to roll with that. And this isn't going to end up being a bumper sticker. This is going to end up putting you in connection with that confidence more consistently. And that's what we're after. So if you train that truth daily, that you're a confident and powerful parent, how would that change how you show up in your home?
I would probably be less reactive. I would, because I think that's when I make a lot of mistakes, is when I do a quick reaction, usually based in emotion, because I can be an emotional person, especially when it comes to performance, my own or my teens. And so maybe being more patient, reacting less, thinking more, being a little bit more curious rather than, one thing a common mistake I make is I will jump to a conclusion really quickly about something that happened in a game or something that my son did, or something that a coach did. I also take their attitude really personal sometimes if it's not exactly what I think it should be.
Yeah, we all have stories like that. You're not alone in that. That attitude definitely hits the wrong way sometimes. So when that pressure starts to build in those situations you're talking about, the coach makes a interesting decision or the kid gives you a little bit of attitude, I'm going to give you some stuff that's going to help you work your way through that. And we're going to talk, it's a structure that we call the 3 R's. So we're going to start with the first one. You ready to rock and roll on this?
Let's go. Apparently I need this.
Okay. Well, we're going to start with reflecting. So when you reflect on something, so try to pull to your mind one of those moments when your son or daughter gave you some attitude and you reacted a little bit not in a way that you're proud of. So the first thing you're going to do when you reflect on that, think back to that, and you're going to bring out curiosity, but not critically. You're not going to be critical of yourself. So name facts, not feelings. Don't give me any of this, well, I'm just a bad parent. You're not a bad parent. You're working hard on yourself, and that's admirable. So name the facts, not the feelings. What is one thing you did well as a parent in that situation?
Well, I did stay calm when my daughter forgot all of her dance stuff.
Good for you.
Practice.
That's a huge win. Being able to stay calm in that situation is great. That sounds like one of those confident moments you're talking about. What's one thing you struggled with this week along these lines?
Well, I could joke about this. It is a struggle, but I would say I'm very proficient at giving unsolicited advice.
The parental advice dispenser.
I really believe I know what's right.
Is that true? Do you know what's right?
I would say in many situations that I see my kids in, I feel like I do, yes.
And I would think that's part of why it's hard to not react in that situation, because you probably are right. So what is it that makes that so challenging? If you're right, why is it so hard to react well?
Well, it's usually because of their response or their reaction.
So what's the moment in there?
They're supposed to just agree with me.
Exactly. What's the moment in there where you lose it that shapes this situation?
Well, it could be the classic eye roll.
The
teenage eye roll.
Awesome.
Yeah, in fact, I will say it usually comes down to some kind of body language that shows that they don't want to listen to it. So I start making up all sorts of reasons in my head why they don't want to listen to it.
Is there a particular body language movement that really sets you off? Like, is it the eye roll, or is it something else where you see it and you're like, oh my gosh?
Okay, I've got to think here. Got to rewind the tape here.
Yeah, run that video back.
Okay, when they take eye contact away from me.
Okay. So when they avert eye contact, they look down, they look somewhere else, they're not talking straight to you.
We're talking, I'm giving the great unsolicited advice, but it's great advice. If they would just follow it, everything would be smooth. And they take their eyes off and they look away. Oh, and start doing something else.
Yeah.
And now I can see this on the big screen now.
Good. So you got a clear picture of that. You've reflected great and you know what it is that gets you. Now we're going to move to the second R, and this is refocus. So when you're in that moment, you're feeling that start to rise up. You're feeling those feelings of, oh man, I'm giving it to them good and they're not paying attention to me. You feel that coming up. What's the truth you need to remember in that moment?
It would be helpful if I remembered this isn't a robot. This is an actual person. This is my flesh and blood. This is my daughter. This is my son. And maybe going back to what I need to work on or become even better at is I can figure this out. So I guess I need to be thinking, okay, how do I figure out this situation? Because this is I wouldn't say this is an everyday thing. This is an every once in a while thing, but I don't like it. And I don't think they like it.
Yeah.
So I need to figure this out.
So what would you do different? What's the great response look like from your best version of yourself?
I would like to come up with a way to deal with these situations without leading with the unsolicited advice.
Okay.
And I would also, this one's a hard one for me to admit, that I'm probably making this. I should probably take out the word probably.
Hey, you're just thinking. It's okay.
I am making this more about me than I am them.
Wow. What would help you shift it to them instead of you?
Well, I need to do something in that moment where I am scheming and planning this great speech and advice. And
hold on. Can I pause you for a second? Did you notice what you just said?
No, I don't.
You just said in your head, you're scheming and you're planning this great response. What would be a better place to put your focus in that moment?
Perhaps thinking about what he or she really needs in that moment. This is a hard one.
It is tough.
Because my default mode is I've been through this, I've seen this, I know that. I'm trained in this. So here's the checklist. This is what needs to happen.
So here's what I want you to do. I want you to grab that checklist. I want you to crumple it up. I want you to throw it away. You're going to write a new checklist. So how are you going to respond differently the next time this situation pops up?
It probably goes back to being more curious.
Okay.
And
what would you ask?
That's the key. I want to ask a good question rather than just jumping into repair or fix it mode.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it's just as simple as asking him how he felt about the situation.
Terrific.
What he thought about the situation. And
Terrific.
then not saying anything. Which is hard.
That's a short checklist, but that's easy to follow.
Say it and then zip it.
Well, I think that's a phenomenal idea. What do you think your kid would do? How would they respond? If you asked and then got out of the way?
They might be shocked.
Shocked in a good way?
Yeah.
What message are you sending them when you do that?
That I'm making this about them rather than about me.
And how are they going to feel when they see that from you?
They should feel a lot better than when I go into fix-it mode.
Yeah, I bet they'd appreciate that a lot. Do you feel more confident if that's how you're showing up?
Sure. I feel like I would go into those kind of conversations more confident. I think I would go in much more calm. Because going into those conversations now, there's a little bit of tension. Because I know I'm right. I know they need whatever. But are they going to listen?
And if you ask it and zip it, do you think you help them to learn to listen better?
Well, we're just all creatures of habit, so.
Well, I think
it would benefit both of us.
You model listening. I think they're going to listen better to you too. So, as you think about this and you see yourself doing these new things, what kind of parent are you training to become?
Well, I think it would move me to the highest level of every value that I hold. That part when we were talking about he loves his kids.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's probably varying levels there on the love scale. Like that really would show that I love them because I'm letting them be them. I'm still supporting them, but I'm not just jumping in with my toolkit and trying to fix every little thing.
Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
Are you okay being the parent that helps them and allows them to fix things?
Except for that one thing. No, I'm just, yeah, you know what is a little harder is, well, now I'm jumping into the character of actually being myself instead of trying to represent, a conglomerate of parents that I've coached, and I've heard these things. But as a former basketball coach, I guess at the time when I was parenting, not a former basketball coach, but when I was parenting my boys, that's hard to do. That's hard to stay back when it comes to that kind of advice. But I did it fairly well when they were being coached by others.
Nice work. So we're going to wrap this up here. Steve, I want to end how we started. We started talking about the truth, and you shared some great responses and appreciate that. I want you to complete one more sentence for us, and anybody watching in the chat, feel free to drop yours in the chat. What's one truth that you are really ready to start training as you move forward in the next week?
I need to slow down, listen. I need to slow down, ask questions, and make it about them.
That is powerful. Did you write that down?
I will write it down.
Make sure you capture that. And that's why we invite everybody to throw that in the chat. It's just a way of capturing it. So when we capture things, they definitely help us stick. When the season gets loud, Steve, remember that. Now you got something that you can go back to and helps you have a clear picture of the kind of parent you want to be, rooted in truth. And now you have something clear to train for, and that can be really powerful at helping you be that incredible parent that I know you are, and more consistent in your confidence as that parent. So thanks for sharing that. All progress starts with a truth. It's true for you. It's true for me. It's true for our kids. It's true for our families. And so just parents and everybody that's watching out here on LinkedIn Live, we invite you to train your truth this week. Figure out what that thing is that you can work on, train it, write it down, repeat it, return to it, and it's really going to help you grow.
Love it. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Any of you parents, if you want to follow us on LinkedIn, we are posting under my profile, Steve Galley, on LinkedIn. And we also, as Nate mentioned earlier, we're the co-hosts of the Stop Parenting and Start Coaching podcast. And if any of this resonates with you, or you would like to connect with us in any way, find us there on LinkedIn and let's have a conversation.
Absolutely. If you want to know if this kind of coaching works for you, I tried to give you the most authentic experience of what it would be like to be coached by me. And I'll tell you, there's one guy out there that I think is actually a better coach than me. And that's the guy sitting next to me here, is Steve Galley. He does a phenomenal job of working, especially with the parents, are really trying to deconstruct and then reconstruct and help to bring out the very best, not just in your parenting, but in your business, in your life, in so many other ways. And he's so good at it. So
we could fight about this, who's
well, we'd know I'd win.
Better. It's almost like
you're the truth.
You're my unpaid hype guy.
Well, but I like hyping you up because I've seen you do work.
I appreciate the kind comments.
My pleasure. And like we talked about, we do some of that work with teens as well. So if you're interested in knowing if this kind of coaching works for you or for them, feel free to reach out. We look forward to chatting with you.
Nate Crandall and Steve Galley would like to thank you for tuning in to this episode. If you love what you're experiencing and learning from the Stop Parenting and Start Coaching podcast, please like, comment, and or leave a glowing review of this episode and the show. And to further help Nate and Steve expand their reach and impact thousands of parents, athletes, and performers, please share the show and subscribe to the Stop Parenting and Start Coaching podcast channel on YouTube. And if you want to explore further to see what Nate and Steve are creating to help parents of athletes and performers everywhere, please visit their website at createtransformbecome.com. That's createtransformbecome, all one word, .com. There you will find a growing number of tools and resources to help you elevate your parenting. Thanks again for tuning in. Now go create a magical relationship with your athlete or performer.